Urologist reveals how to drink water to avoid getting up at night. It's a scenario many of us are all too familiar with. The unwelcome pilgrimage to the bathroom in the dead of night, often multiple times, disrupting precious sleep and leaving us feeling drained and frustrated. The feeling of isolation can be profound, especially when a partner slumbers soundly, leaving you to ponder, why me? Is this simply an inevitable consequence of aging, a fate to be resigned to, complete with chronic fatigue, the anxiety of navigating in the dark, and the perpetual hope of a full night's sleep? The prevailing belief suggests this is just the way it is. However, this video aims to challenge that notion profoundly, asserting with clarity that this cycle of interrupted sleep and exhausted days does not have to be your reality. Dr. Grace Prescott, a physician with over 2 decades of experience dedicated to understanding the intricacies of the bladder and urinary system, has witnessed firsthand the despair and hopelessness of thousands of men and women facing this very issue. Yet, she has also seen remarkable transformations, and today she is sharing not just general advice, but a pivotal urological strategy, a precise method concerning how, and crucially, when to consume water that promises to finally restore restful nights. This technique is presented as so elegantly simple, so intrinsically logical, and yet so remarkably overlooked that its effectiveness will likely leave you wondering how you ever managed without it. The knowledge shared is poised to do more than just improve your nights. It has the potential to fundamentally change your life. The prevalence of this issue is staggering. It's estimated that up to 70% of adults over the age of 60 experience nocturia, the medical term for waking up at night to urinate, with many facing 2, 3, or even more awakenings. While common, it is crucial to understand that nocturia is not a normal bodily function, nor is it an insignificant toll of aging. Instead, it should be viewed as a critical warning signal from your body, a siren in the night that, if ignored, carries consequences far more serious than commonly perceived. This video promises to delve into the underlying reasons for this phenomenon and to unveil a precise, teachable strategy designed to break free from this exhausting cycle, with the ultimate revelation intended to transform nights for good. The term silent epidemic is fitting for nocturia because it's an issue people often suffer from in silence, burdened by shame or a sense of resignation. However, in a clinical setting, the real stories emerge. Consider Michael, a 72-year-old grandfather whose passion for building model ships was curtailed by the tremors in his hands, a direct result of chronic sleep deprivation. Or Susan, a 68-year-old retired teacher who suffered a hip fracture from a fall during a nighttime bathroom trip, an accident that irrevocably impacted her independence. These are not isolated incidents, but stark illustrations of the pervasive reality of nocturia. The problem extends far beyond mere fatigue. The dangers associated with these nighttime bathroom excursions are significant and multifaceted. Foremost is the increased risk of falls. In a state of semi-sleep with compromised balance and the darkness transforming familiar surroundings into an obstacle course of rugs and furniture, the potential for a life-altering injury, such as a hip fracture, is alarmingly high, especially for older adults, often marking the beginning of a rapid decline. Beyond the immediate physical threat, the impact on cognitive health is profound. Deep sleep is not a luxury, but a biological imperative. During sleep, the brain undertakes crucial housekeeping tasks, including consolidating memories and clearing out metabolic toxins accumulated throughout the day. When sleep is repeatedly fragmented by nocturnal awakenings, this essential cleansing process is compromised. The resultant brain fog, difficulty concentrating, impaired memory, and over time, an elevated risk of neurodegenerative diseases are not solely attributable to age, but are significant consequences of inadequate quality sleep. Furthermore, the constant disruption poses a serious strain on the cardiovascular system. Each abrupt awakening triggers the release of stress hormones, leading to spikes in blood pressure and heart rate. Repeatedly subjecting the body to these physiological surges throughout the night can contribute to hypertension and other heart-related issues. The emotional toll is equally devastating. Chronic fatigue erodes joy, fosters irritability and anxiety, and can even precipitate depression, gradually withdrawing individuals from cherished activities and relationships, trapping them in an inescapable cycle of exhaustion and altering their very sense of self. The reasons behind this age-related decline in sleep quality and increased urinary frequency are multifactorial. Firstly, as we age, the production of antidiuretic hormone, ADH, naturally decreases. ADH plays a crucial role in signaling the kidneys to reduce urine production during sleep. With diminished ADH levels, the kidneys may continue to produce urine at a more significant rate, even during the night. Secondly, bladder capacity can decrease with age, meaning the bladder fills up more quickly. Thirdly, and often overlooked, is the phenomenon of fluid redistribution. During the day, gravity helps to keep excess fluid in the lower extremities. However, when an individual lies down at night, this fluid returns to the bloodstream, is filtered by the kidneys, and ultimately ends up in the bladder, contributing to the urge to urinate a few hours later. Understanding the gravity of these issues and the underlying physiological mechanisms is the necessary prelude to debunking pervasive myths and constructing an effective solution. Before delving into the corrective strategies, it's imperative to address and dismantle the common misconceptions that often exacerbate the problem. 3 prevalent myths, frequently held with the best of intentions, inadvertently worsen nocturia. The first myth, and perhaps the most widespread and counterproductive, is the belief that to avoid nighttime urination, one should drastically limit fluid intake during the day. While seemingly logical, this approach backfires. When the body is deprived of adequate water, the urine produced becomes highly concentrated. This concentrated urine can act as an irritant to the bladder lining, similar to pouring a caustic substance on a sensitive surface. This irritation can make the bladder hypersensitive, triggering premature signals to urinate even when it is not full. Moreover, when thirst is eventually quenched with larger volumes of fluid later in the day, the body, having been in a state of conservation, may attempt to process this liquid rapidly, often leading to increased urine production at night. Thus, paradoxically, insufficient fluid intake during the day can contribute to more frequent nighttime bathroom visits. The second myth suggests that the problem lies with having a small bladder, and that this is an immutable characteristic. While some individuals may have a genuinely smaller functional bladder capacity, for the vast majority experiencing nocturia in adulthood, the issue is not the size of the bladder itself, but rather the rate at which the kidneys are producing urine. As previously discussed, reduced ADH levels and the redistribution of fluid from the legs are primary culprits. Even with a large bladder, if the kidneys are continuously producing urine, awakenings are inevitable. Attributing nocturia to a small bladder can serve as an excuse that prevents individuals from addressing the root cause and accepting that this condition is not an unchangeable fate. The third myth, particularly insidious, centers on the idea that a glass of wine or beer before bed, intended to relax and aid sleep, is harmless. While alcohol may induce a feeling of drowsiness initially, it profoundly disrupts sleep architecture and, critically, exacerbates nocturia. Alcohol is a potent diuretic, meaning it increases urine production. More significantly, it actively suppresses the release of ADH, the hormone responsible for slowing down urine production at night. Consequently, consuming alcohol before bed creates a double whammy. You are introducing liquid into your system and simultaneously disabling your body's natural braking mechanism for urine production. This combination is a near guarantee for nighttime awakenings. Furthermore, alcohol impairs the quality of sleep, often causing awakenings in the latter half of the night, precisely when the bladder is also signaling its need to empty. Therefore, abstaining from alcohol, especially in the hours leading up to bedtime, is one of the most impactful changes one can implement. By dispelling these myths, a crucial foundation is laid for embracing a more effective solution. The cornerstone of the recommended strategy is SMART hydration, a 5-step method encapsulated by the acronym ASIM: adjust, soften, stop, integrate, manage. This systematic approach moves away from the counterproductive notion of drinking less and embraces a more intelligent distribution of fluid intake. The first step: adjust your hydration, emphasizes front-loading most of your daily liquid consumption into the first half of the day. A practical guideline is to aim for 75% of your total daily fluid intake before 4 p.m. This can be initiated by drinking 1 or 2 glasses of water upon waking to rehydrate and stimulate the body. Throughout the morning, maintain a consistent intake of water through steady sips, proactively hydrating rather than waiting for thirst, which is already a sign of mild dehydration. A glass of water with lunch further contributes to this morning heavy hydration. By distributing fluids in this manner, your kidneys have ample opportunity to process liquids throughout the day while you are active and upright, working in harmony with your body's natural rhythms. By 4 p.m., you should be adequately hydrated, and the focus can then shift towards preparing for a night of uninterrupted sleep. The second step: soften. The transition involves a gradual reduction in fluid intake from 4 p.m. onwards. This is not an abrupt cutoff, but a landing phase. During the period between 4 p.m. and dinner, limit intake, perhaps to half a glass if thirst arises. Dinner itself is a critical juncture. It is advisable to consume your last meal at least 3 hours before bedtime. During dinner, drink only enough to aid in swallowing your food. A few sips are acceptable, but a full glass should be avoided. This gradual tapering of fluid intake signals to your body that it is time to begin slowing down urine production, preparing for the night ahead. The third step: stop in time, introduces a sacred zone of absolutely no liquid consumption for 2 hours prior to bedtime. If your bedtime is 10 p.m., then the last drop of liquid should be consumed no later than 8 p.m. This 2-hour window is essential for allowing your kidneys to complete their final filtration processes and for any recently produced urine to be stored in the bladder before you fall asleep. Consuming fluids within this critical period significantly increases the likelihood of waking up during the night. If dryness in the mouth becomes an issue, rinsing the mouth without swallowing or taking a minuscule sip is permissible, but adherence to this no liquid rule is paramount. This forms the core of the ASIM method. Building upon this core, 2 additional steps elevate the protocol. Step 4: integrate. Electrolytes focuses on optimizing water absorption. Hydration is not merely about the quantity of water consumed, but also about its efficient utilization by the body. Electrolytes play a vital role in this process. A simple yet effective technique involves adding a small pinch of unrefined sea salt and a splash of lemon juice to your first glass of water in the morning. The sodium from the salt aids in water absorption by cells, while the lemon provides potassium. This can enhance the effectiveness of your morning hydration, potentially reducing afternoon thirst and promoting better overall hydration. The 5th step: manage your dinner, addresses the impact of food choices on bladder function. For your final meal, avoid bladder irritants such as spicy or acidic foods. Limit consumption of excessive sugar or refined carbohydrates, which can increase urine production. Foods with high water content, like soups, watermelon, or cucumbers, are best consumed earlier in the day. Stimulants such as caffeine and chocolate should also be avoided. Opt for a dinner rich in protein and cooked vegetables, which helps to stabilize blood sugar levels and avoids overburdening your digestive and urinary systems. By implementing the complete ASIM method, you are not relying on magic, but on applied science to regain control over your nighttime sleep. Beyond the ASIM method, certain supporting techniques can further enhance results, acting as high-performance tires for the engine of your improved hydration strategy. The first supporting technique is double voiding, designed to ensure your bladder is thoroughly emptied. Before bed, visit the bathroom, sit on the toilet for a few moments to relax your pelvic floor muscles, allowing for a more complete emptying. After you believe you are finished, wait for about 30 to 60 seconds, then lean forward slightly and attempt to urinate again. You might be surprised by how much additional urine is expelled. This small but significant amount can be the deciding factor in whether you sleep through the night or wake up prematurely. Make this a consistent ritual. The second supporting technique is the gravity elevator, a method to proactively manage fluid redistribution. 1 to 2 hours before bed, while engaged in sedentary activities like reading or watching television, elevate your legs above heart level. Prop them on pillows or cushions. This simple act uses gravity to your advantage, encouraging fluid that has accumulated in your legs to return to circulation before you lie down. This fluid will then be processed by your kidneys and can be eliminated during your final bathroom visit or your double voiding attempt. Wearing compression socks during the day can also help minimize fluid accumulation in the lower extremities. The third supporting technique is salt shaker control. While a pinch of salt in the morning can be beneficial, excessive salt intake throughout the day is detrimental to managing nocturia. When you consume too much salt, your body retains water to dilute it, leading to increased thirst and fluid intake. Furthermore, your kidneys must work harder to excrete excess salt, a process that requires water, thus contributing to urine production. Be mindful of processed foods, deli meats, and ready-made meals, which are often high in sodium. Cooking at home offers greater control over your salt intake. Reducing salt consumption not only benefits your bladder, but also contributes positively to blood pressure management. In summary, nocturia has been unmasked not merely as an inconvenience, but as a significant disruptor of overall well-being and a thief of vitality. The pervasive myths that have perpetuated this issue have been debunked, and a clear path forward has been illuminated through the ASIM method and its supporting techniques. Consider the transformation of Michael, the model ship builder. Within just 2 weeks of adhering to this protocol, he reported sleeping 7 consecutive hours, an experience he had almost forgotten. His hands were no longer trembling, he had returned to his workshop, and most importantly, he felt vibrantly alive again. This level of transformation is attainable for you starting tonight. Reclaiming your sleep is a conscious decision, a decision to actively implement the knowledge you have gained. Your action plan is straightforward. Adjust your hydration by consuming most of your fluids before 4 p.m. Soften your transition into nighttime with a gradual reduction in intake, and rigorously stop all liquid consumption 2 hours before bed, respecting the sacred zone. Integrate electrolytes and manage your dinner choices wisely. Support your body's natural processes with double voiding, leg elevation, and vigilant salt control. The knowledge and the tools are now in your possession. The power to transform your nights rests with you. If this information has been valuable, please consider showing your support by hitting the like button, which helps this vital message reach more individuals who are struggling. Subscribe to ensure you don't miss out on future health insights that could profoundly impact your life. And most importantly, please take a moment to go to the comments section right now and share the number of times you currently wake up at night. There is no judgment here, only a supportive community that understands this shared struggle. By vocalizing your experience, you are not only taking a crucial first step toward change, but also offering solace and validation to others who may feel alone in their nocturnal challenges. Thank you for your trust and your time. Now, prepare yourself for the best night's sleep you've experienced in years. You truly deserve it.